like it sometimes. Sometimes it's a lot. You know. Dealing with you, living in the same house.
You don't live here.
You don't live here.
I feel like I do sometimes. So
If
much.
you lived here, you wouldn't be able to handle it.
I wouldn't be what?
You wouldn't be able to handle it.
Oh, man, I would not be able to handle it at all. It's too many people.
There's a lot of people that live here. We have 5 people that live here.
Do you guys have pizza nights?
We have game night. Yeah, Monday nights are game nights, and Frank Wacker and I'm sorry, he used his real name, Dick Cornelius Strangler, and
Dixie Strangler.
Dixie Strangler, and his wife, and then Buck Newman. Sometimes Connor. A bunch of people come over and we play board games. This month of October, the days that we have done it have been Scary Movie Night. So yeah, we're fun. We're festive.
What scary movies have you watched?
We've only had one scary movie night just due to everybody's schedule.
Sure.
But it was Trick or Treat, which was fucking fantastic actually for a scary movie. Like normally I don't get down with the horror genre at all, but with this it was like kind of like a Sin City type of vibe to it, where it was like a non-linear timeline that all kind of bled into each other, like all the stories converged. Like, think of Pulp Fiction.
Oh, okay.
You know how all those different storylines like somehow intertwined? That's how this horror movie was, where it was like different like scary events happening. Like there were werewolves, and then there was like this little fucking kid thing that was like following people around.
Yeah, children are pretty scary.
Terrifying.
Except for yours.
That's the scariest thing.
That's the scariest thing in the world.
Yeah, kids are the scariest thing in the world. Like, I should just dress up for Halloween with like a big lollipop and one of those beanies that have the little spinner on the top. What are those called?
Oh,
That would
like
be absolutely terrifying.
Yeah, it'd be fucking horrific.
Yeah.
And then my horizontal striped shirt with my big gut hanging out. Fabulous.
Nah.
Living my best life, guys.
You might get a lot of dudes who hit on you. Though.
I already get a lot of dudes that hit on me. It's okay. It's okay. We know how to deal with them. I just turn into that
Say
mother hen lady.
Yes, please.
Yeah, well.
Yes, please, and thank you.
Depends if he has Coke or not.
Yeah. That is always the kicker, isn't it?
I'll suck a dick for an 8 ball. I mean, did I say that?
Allegedly.
We're not recording. We are recording.
We are recording.
We are
absolutely
recording. And this is Meat Sweats the podcast, everybody. Hello. Thank you for coming. Thank you. We have Kerri Gallagher here with us today. The illustrious, the fresh, never frozen Kerri Gallagher.
Never frozen.
Never frozen.
Except right after I get Botox. So there's a little bit. There's a little bit of my face being frozen.
Wait, have you ever had Botox?
Yeah, absolutely.
Get the fuck out of here.
I've
What's
been
that
getting
like?
it. I've been getting it since I was 30.
No.
Yeah.
How old are you?
33. I'll be
No,
34
you're
in
not.
April.
Oh my goodness.
It's the fucking Botox.
It's the fucking Botox.
It works.
It's killing it.
So, what is that like?
Okay, so you go into an office, and my gal's name is Gail, and she's from Long Island.
Oh fuck yeah!
And
Perfect.
so she's been doing this for probably 25 years. She
Ugh.
trained in Beverly Hills, and she's very matter of fact, and she's very cut to the chase. And she's like, you got to do this and you got to do that, but I know you won't. So she's kind of a bitch. She doesn't even numb me up. She just puts the syringe right into my forehead, between my eyes, and
What does that feel like? Like
it hurts.
Does it hurt real bad? When
And you can hear it crunching in your
wow.
skin, which is
What?
crazy. Like you can hear the needle go in, and it's like,
I don't know if some crazy lady from Long Island is who should be handling needles that go in your face.
I know.
But Gail sounds like a bad bitch.
Gail's a bad bitch. She's got a humpback, and she's got every single plastic surgery that could ever be done.
They just
done.
don't have one to take out the humpback yet.
No.
That's the one she's really been waiting for.
She's like,
Scoliosis is a bitch.
Damn it. God damn it, science. Stop working on the Large Hadron Collider and find a way to get rid of my hump.
I feel like probably 96% of your regular listeners were like, fuck this episode.
No,
The other
fuck that.
4% probably have it on mute real quick.
No. They're into Botox, and they're a Botoxing crowd. My brother had Botox injections. But that
To
was
help
from
with headaches or because he
from
was a
spinal
sweater?
from a spinal injury.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You can get Botox injected under your arms to help with sweat relief. Like if you're a persistent sweater.
What?
Yeah, like a hyper sweat. I don't know what it's called.
There's so many people that I would love them to get those injections in their hands.
Here's the problem. It goes other places.
Yeah.
It's not like you stop sweating. You
No.
just sweat more in other spots.
From other crevices.
I would rather.
So you're going to have a real sweaty crotch.
I would rather like sweat out of my elbow than my hand, though. You know, like if I had like sweaty palms, like how many people after a show you'd like been out there shaking hands and stuff, and someone shakes your hand and they just grab you with a big old greasy handshake, and you're just like, what? Did you just eat popcorn? Like, I didn't even think they served that shit
Clammy,
here, man.
limp hands are disgusting.
You know Jonathan Gregory, right?
Yeah.
So Jay Greggs had this thing for a while. He would just go around shaking people's hand with like he'd dead fish them.
Oh,
It was the creepiest
Gross.
thing that anybody's ever done to you is to get a limp fucking handshake.
He gave me a weird handshake the other night.
Yeah.
It wasn't a dead fish, but he just gives you the open hand and never closes it now.
Oh yeah. He switched it. He switches his handshake up. He's a real weirdo. We're gonna have him on, but hopefully he doesn't shake anybody's hand.
did
on
you
the way
guys
in.
ever have like secret handshakes growing up?
Fuck yeah.
Yeah,
What,
absolutely.
what was yours?
No,
I'm sure yours is really
no.
complicated.
Like if we did, it would always be this overly dramatic choreographed routine
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
that you wouldn't even be able to accurately remember in the moment where it was necessary. So then you just looked like an asshole or like you were having a seizure. Like
were you the friend who was just like,
right.
God damn it, Jessica, we rehearsed this 5 times last night.
Yeah, I was the Cat
You-
Alvarado because Cat Alvarado choreographed our Big Pine skit, and that's exactly how Cat was.
That was so funny. When
She
we-
kept yelling at me for not getting my arms down right at the same time and being like off on the beach. And she was like, it's a basic square step, Kerri. It's a basic square step. And I was like, God damn it, Kat. I'm not good at this shit. I can teach you how to play zone defense. I just can't fucking learn a square step.
I love it. You're from a long line of sport, of like a big sports family.
Yeah, a lot of people in my family have played sports.
Well, you played D1 sports, correct?
Yeah, D1 club lacrosse, but it was
Still
whatever.
D1. I mean,
was cool.
is lacrosse isn't that big in this country?
It's
Is it?
getting bigger.
It's getting bigger.
The U.S. is probably the biggest, and then Australia, Germany is starting to get a little bit bigger.
The UK, do they do lacrosse? It
I
seemed
mean,
like
a
it's
little bit.
Yeah.
It was funny in college. We went to a tournament in Hawaii, and Japan sent a team. And at the end of the game, all the Japanese girls came up to just the blonde girls on the team. We were like, picture, and we thought they wanted us to take a picture of them. But I guess, blondes in Japan are rare. But like at ASU, we were a dime a dozen.
Yeah,
so it didn't
there's
really
a lot
fucking
of you.
matter. Yeah,
Ton of you.
it was crazy.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Japanese people take pictures of the weirdest shit.
Oh yeah, they love pictures.
They really do. Like that's the only people that I saw when I was in like every time I've been through Yellowstone, Asian people. I should say Asian people, not just Japanese, but Asian people to generalize it even more.
Do you not take pictures on your vacations, Bill?
Well, I mean,
Why
they were
don't
the
you take
only people
pictures?
getting out of the car to take pictures of buffalo. Like they're the only people.
If you
It was aggressive.
If you went to Japan and they had a weird fucking furry horned animal that you didn't get to see all the
get
time,
out of the car.
you wouldn't get out of the car?
No, sir.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
No.
I would probably get out of the car.
I would
You get out of the car?
I mean, to take a picture of it, yeah.
No.
You don't fuck with nature.
You don't fuck with nature.
You can't.
The biggest
they'll
thing that
fucking-
Japan has
they'll kill
anyway,
you.
they have
They'll
like
eat. They'll. Yeah, I would probably die.
they have those deer with the, or no, that's not Japan, that's New Zealand.
What do they
New
have?
Zealand have deer with fangs.
What?
Yeah, instead of growing antlers, they grow these really long fangs.
That's awesome.
They're really weird looking.
It's a fucking metal ass deer.
It's it's the metalist deer, but there's no antlers. It's just like it looks like a doe, but then the boy's got these like vampire fangs.
That
They just
sounds
walk around.
terrifying.
Yeah, I mean, it's a horror movie deer.
Would you get out of the car and take a picture of it?
No,
No.
no.
But from inside the car, you would.
I've seen a deer. I've seen a full-grown deer. Like you grew up in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
You ever go deer hunting as a kid?
No.
Did
but
your
like
family hunt?
so many of my friends and family did. I just never did it.
I saw a guy. This guy was walking up to a deer he had shot, and he didn't make a clean shot on it, so it wasn't dead. And it jumped up and pinned him on the ground.
Oh, shit.
And he's like sitting there yelling at his kid, who's like 16. Like my buddy's like 16, yelling at his kid to shoot it. And like this deer's got his dad pinned against the ground. Like he had to like shove the antlers into the ground, and
Jesus
otherwise
Christ.
it would have impaled him. Yeah, it was
That's
crazy.
insane.
Did you guys grow up hunting?
I did.
I didn't. I grew up in hunting area. I grew up with friends who hunted because we grew up in the woods, but like we didn't hunt. But the craziest thing I ever saw is my buddy took me coyote hunting.
That's a lot of fun.
Yeah, and
You
so
do it at night.
we did it like early, and you kind of sit back to back and you do like a dead animal call, which sounds like a crying baby, and then you do a coyote call. And the first thing that came in was a rabid fox.
Ooh, that's a creepy one.
It was.
Did it have was it losing
Wait, how do you see at night?
This wasn't at night. This was early in the morning, so the sun was up.
Okay.
When
Yeah,
we
it's
do it,
probably
when
like
you do it at
6,
night,
7.
in most places, it's during the winter, and the ground is white because it's snow.
Gotcha.
So, like, you see that they move like little black dots.
Yeah, you
just
make
watch
sure
them
you set up
forever.
in the right way.
Yeah, you got to be on a high spot, and you can watch them coming up to where you are, and then you just wherever you're at, you make it centralized enough to where you have enough people to keep an eye on all directions, so they
Yeah.
don't sneak up on you.
Yeah, we realized it was rabid because we had to shoot it 7 times.
Oh,
What?
Yeah.
so it had all its hair and everything. It wasn't like all mangy looking.
It wasn't super mangy.
Okay.
Yeah,
But it was just fucking like just
it was
wouldn't
fucking
die.
crazy.
Yeah.
and it wouldn't die.
Kept coming at
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, because it came bolting right at us.
Dude,
and
rabies
this
that's the
guy's
scariest thing.
I've
ever.
never seen an animal on rabies or with rabies.
I
or
just
however you
haven't.
say it.
Luckily, I haven't either.
He's on the rabies.
He's
I've seen
on
like
rabies.
taking the rabies
I've seen animals with
smoking those rabies.
mange. I've seen animals with there's this thing. It's called chronic wasting disease, where they just can't put weight on. It's essentially like the animal version of muscular dystrophy, but it's like contagious, and they just like get real sickly looking. But I've luckily never seen a rabid anything. And rabies is like one of the scariest viruses known to man. Like if you don't get an immunization within like I think it's 24 hours of being infected with the rabies virus, then you will or not it's not an immunization at that point, but they have like something that can combat it, but only in that time period, and then you die.
That's it.
Yeah, you have 24 hours to treat it and then you're dead.
Is rabies the closest thing that could make a human into a zombie? That's the
mean-
only point of reference I have. Where it's
There's
like you get bit
psychosis
by an animal.
involved?
Bath salts is the only substance that we've created so far that
Make
turns
you-
a human
yeah.
into a zombie.
But I
You
mean
will
like
legit eat someone's face. Shout out to Florida and your bath salts.
And Apache Junction.
and AJ Wood.
yeah. The zombie myth actually started because of voodoo practitioners in like the Caribbean islands. They would use a pufferfish venom to like sedate and paralyze their victim. So they would take a person from town, they would give them this pufferfish venom in a certain dosage, and it would effectively paralyze them and make their respiration very, very shallow. So it gave the appearance of death.
So you couldn't even feel a pulse.
Exactly.
Holy
It was
smokes.
like a state of suspension where it's I think they actually use it in some form of anesthesia now. Also, fun fact, dolphins like to take these same fish and get high with them. Yeah.
Dolphins are weird motherfuckers.
Dolphins are smart as
There's
shit.
only a small pod.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
they're Caribbean
Yeah.
dolphins that do it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Dolphins will fucking rape you and
Yeah.
do
And they like
drugs.
to get high.
Yeah.
They're badass mammal.
They're
I mean,
The white males of the sea.
they're the white the white males.
they're the,
white
they're the
males of the
Dales of
sea.
the
Oh,
sea.
they are the Chads of the sea.
The
They
Chads
are.
Of the sea,
Oh,
yeah.
God,
Let's do some
dolphins.
hallucinogens and rape some
Yep,
ladies.
they're the frat boy. They're the frat boys of the ocean.
They're just a bunch of ASU Sigma Chi's, man. They're just living their best
Getting deeper
life.
here.
Trying to like flounder around, like flap their fins. It's like, stop flapping.
Yeah.
Nobody wants your
Yeah,
flip.
take off that fucking fabulous shirt too.
So
'cause
were
you're
you-
definitely not?
So were you in a sorority? Did you
No.
deal with a lot of the frats?
Hey, I was
and
talking
frat dudes
about
and shit?
zombies.
I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah,
I'm
yeah,
sorry.
zombies.
So
I
you
like
take
zombies.
the puffer. So I detracted with the dolphin statement, but so you take the puffer fish venom and you get them into that pre-state. Then they had this. There's a tree, and I don't know the technical name of the tree, but it's referred to as Colombian devil's breath.
Okay.
And it's got like these long trumpet-like flowers. and they make a drug from it that puts you into an autosuggestive state.
What does that mean?
Autosuggestive means that I could, if Matt was on this stuff, I would be like, hey, Matt, let's go empty your bank account, and then you give me all your money. And he'd be like, okay.
Almost like a hypnotist. Like someone could easily make you a puppet.
Yeah. It's a big problem in South America, not South American, well, South American, but like Central and South American populations. Hookers will put it, or working girls will put it up their nose with like tissue paper. They'll put tissue paper up their nose or wax.
Yeah.
And then they'll put the powder up there, and then they'll go sneeze it into a John's face and just clean him out. Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Hell yeah.
I'm gonna go South America and get sneezed in the face.
I mean, you don't get anything but like
I want to do the
account.
sneezing and get some money.
Or maybe a kidney. Actually, wouldn't take your kidney. They could probably tell.
I don't think they want any of my organs. No. I think they can realize that these organs have been through some shit, and most of them are not working correctly anymore. We're just not sure which ones, but pretty sure all of them.
Yeah. No, there's definitely the check engine light on.
Oh, it's been on for a while.
Imagine if you're so pissed, like if you're that working girl and like you sneeze in that guy's face and you bring all these organs. They're like, this is shit, Jasmine. What the fuck is this? I can't get anything. And then you're like, God damn it. Like, I just spent my whole night
I
like
wasted
cutting
8 hours cutting that fat ass up. Are you kidding me? You can't use any of this?
You can't use anything?
Come on.
That would be horrible.
How much fat I had to dig through to get to that liver.
So many layers.
Matt's built like an onion. Everybody, that's what we've determined.
Built like an onion? Layers?
Just full of layers.
Full of layers?
Yep.
They're good layers.
Matt's the little onion boy.
I like to think of myself as a 7-layer dip. You know,
Yeah.
that kind of layers,
Yep.
you know.
Once you get to the beans, you know you're in.
It's over. It's
Yeah.
over at the beans. The beans are the worst part. But on top, it's sweet. You know, you got the guacamole,
Okay,
the tomatoes,
what do you think
the
about
nice
black
sprinkles.
olives on there though? Because
I'm a
so
fan of
many
black
people,
olives.
I love black
I love the
olives,
black olives.
but so many people are like, oh, I don't want olives.
Black
What's wrong
olives?
with those people?
I don't know.
What is wrong with the people who don't like olives?
I don't know.
I want to get to the bottom of that.
I fucking love black olives
I don't
so
understand-
much.
I don't
Especially
understand
on
it.
Mexican food.
Yes,
Yeah.
you need that saltiness
good.
to cut
Well,
through the cheese.
Mexican food, Italian food, just where an olive is supposed to be, you know, like
Kalamata olives and Greek salads.
Oh.
What feta cheese?
Oh, how
Oh
can
my
you eat a
gosh.
Greek salad without Kalamata olives?
You can't.
can't. You're
You
a piece of
can't.
shit. You should
Probably
eat-
how Trump eats it.
That's definitely Trump doesn't eat Greek
He's never
salads.
had a salad
No,
in his
he
life.
doesn't know what it
eats,
is.
Did you know he
And I don't
eats
think
like
he's ever had an
primarily
olive.
fast food?
No way.
He does.
No
And he
way.
goes
They
to-
have chefs there. They could
I'm
make him
not even
whatever he
kidding.
wants.
He's-
There's no
he's
way, Bill.
Early in his presidency, he was very worried about poisoning, and he would go to he would take the Secret Service to different fast food fucking drive-ins.
No way.
I'm not kidding. He's famous for it.
How is he famous for it, but I've never heard it?
Because you're not paying that much fucking attention, Kerri.
Read between
Kerri.
the lines.
You're not paying enough attention. You listen to his fucking foreign policy speeches and not the, weirdos who are following the president around when he goes to In-N-Out 5 times a day.
Do you think that whole stuff with Q is true? Do you know anything about that?
Q.
It's all that stuff on message boards and deep in the Ethernet where they talk about there's somebody planted in the White House who is trying to do good, and Trump is actually like a good guy, and he's trying to expose all these weird devil worshippers and like the bad thing in Hollywood. I don't know.
Oh my!
It's
That
all
sounds
Q.
like some like Bohemian Grove shit,
Yeah. Is
like
that
from the '60s.
they're saying Trump is this good
No,
person
yeah,
who's doing it?
Trump is a good guy, and this guy Q will post weird things in the message boards, like, "Hey guys, like all these papers are going to come out. They're not going to be redacted. We'll have all the information. The truth is out there."
Oh my!
I know, it's crazy.
It's like a new truther movement. You remember Do
guess.
you remember the truther movement? Like in mid 2008 ish, like
Wasn't
right
that
after the housing.
birther shit?
or the Wall Street movement thing, or what was it
Well,
called?
it was like they called themselves truthers, and it was just like everybody kind of really got deep involved in like conspiracy theories.
Yes,
and
this has to be a branch of that, because this guy will say some of the craziest shit and then something will come out. I think he said something to the effect of the Catholic Church is going to be we're going to finally have the proof we need to be able to quiet the Catholic Church and take their money out of politics and essentially drain the swamp. And then a month later, all that shit was released from the state of Pennsylvania.
Oh, really?
So there's weird shit like that.
What happened? What was released from the state of Pennsylvania?
Well,
I'm
just
not aware
like
of that.
all the 6 dioceses in the state, like thousands and thousands of cover-ups
All
for
their
child
cover-ups? Okay.
molestation and, I mean, horrible things.
That big Boston Globe.
Boston Globe. I mean,
report.
this is like 10 times bigger than the Boston Globe. And it
Really?
was 6 dioceses in Pennsylvania. It didn't even include Philadelphia. And
Wow.
Philadelphia is the largest diocese in the
Wow.
state. And so that kind of stuff comes out. I'm like, is this real? And I'm like, no, this guy is a fucking weirdo who's probably sitting behind his computer.
It might
And
be.
just like Nostradamus, like eventually something's gonna
Yeah.
hit.
Yeah.
You know?
Well,
like,
that's what the hard thing is with those guys, like the Alex Joneses.
Yeah.
And who was the other guy? He used to be on. He was on like some public access, and he was like he had something that he had said that was true, but then he was also like the lizard people guy. Like,
yeah.
that the government was run by lizard people.
Yeah.
You know, like it.
You guys are all going to sound real fucking silly when Trump takes off his mask and he's a lizard person. I just want you to know
lizard.
this.
He's the bad guy from that fucking one Spider-Man where it's the
Yeah.
lizard man. That,
Yeah.
I wish there was like lizard or mole people or something that was the hidden evil, and it wasn't just us being shitty to each other.
No,
But it's just us.
It's
being
just
shitty
us.
to each
We're
other.
humans. We're
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
We're just not.
We're predators.
Yeah.
I
mean,
human beings really are predators.
They're predators. They're the top predator. They rose up out of the food chain.
And in a short amount of time.
Short amount of time.
Short amount of time. When you think of every other living,
Evolved
breathing
species, yeah.
creature on this earth,
Yeah.
humans evolved so quickly and just fucking dominated.
And now, we're trying to work out dominating each other. Mm-hmm. And
That's a big thing.
it's
and
a fucking big deal. It's a lot of shit
That's
to work
all
out.
of all of written history is
everything.
people trying to get over on each other. You know, like,
Yeah.
Well,
Because there's nothing really above us, at least that we know of or that we've discovered yet.
Yeah.
Right.
Like there's no alien force that we know of or whatever that's proven that's here that we're trying to combat. So we just go all out on our brethren.
Right. Well, if you look at like every like movie in which like the world is finally united, it's always because a bigger, badder threat comes in,
Yeah.
and we have to all stop fighting,
And we have to band
and we have to
together.
band together to beat the fucking alien. That's like everything. That's
shout
like
out Pacific Rim 2.
that really seems that was a fucking such a bad movie. It was so terrible.
why I shouted it
I
out.
watched it with my fucking 16-year-old and just made fun of me and him made fun of it the entire fucking
I didn't even
time.
know they
That's
made a
good bet.
second one.
Oh yeah, they made a second one. They tried to tie in plot points from the first one. Like apparently Charlie Day didn't age a bit. Like, I just got a breakdown of it. I didn't waste my money on it.
Yeah,
No.
Don't watch
I'll
it.
wait till it comes out on TBS.
Yeah.
It was not.
Producer Brian is over here, and he's trying to be an agent provocateur, and say Pacific Rim 2. He's just trying to upset Matt. You can't do
It's
it.
not
He's
good at all.
in a new Zen state, Brian.
Who
you
is?
can't upset Matt.
Me?
Yeah, you.
I'm in a state of fucking chaos. What are you talking about?
That's why I said you're Zen. 'Cause
I'm not Zen at
I
all.
was just
It's-
trying to throw him off.
Oh,
I was
okay.
trying to deflect
Well,
him
I
away
appreciate
from you,
that,
buddy.
That's fine. No, I want him to throw his chaos at my chaos because maybe we can make a new chaos.
Or they'll cancel each other out.
That
right?
never
That
happened.
never
That doesn't
happens.
happen.
No,
I
no,
wasn't very good at
no.
that.
When you mix two chaoses, it's just fun to see.
It's just
It engenders
It's just
new
a new
chaos.
color of poop.
It's horrible.
It's like it's like when you shit green and you're just like, how did this happen?
It happens.
Like,
Remember when those Whoppers came out, the black Whoppers?
they make you poop green?
And they make you poop green or like purple or something. It was
Did you
weird.
have one?
No, my mom texted me about it.
Your mom did?
Did she show you
my-
her
she-
poop?
Oh my
She
god.
did not show, Anne-Marie did not show me her poop, but she was like, oh my gosh, look at this.
I'm
That's
so
crazy.
glad you brought up Anne-Marie because I wanted you to tell the wake story. Was it a wake?
Oh my gosh, at my grandmother's funeral.
This is my favorite
Oh,
fucking story
no.
ever.
Yeah, so my grandmother, Graham Stella,
Rest in peace, Graham.
Well, or not. Like, she wasn't that nice. Or, I mean, like, no, definitely, like, I would never
you're from
wish
Pennsylvania. Is this
ill
the
on
Stella
her.
that Rocky was screaming about?
I mean, no, I don't think. I mean, people were just
Adrian.
yelling
That
at
was
her,
Adrian.
not screaming
Stella was
as if they
Stella.
wanted
Streetcar
her
Desire.
presence around. No, my gram Stella died, and like, you know, she was old, so it happens. But of course, with anything that had to do with her, it was like a huge headache, and there was a huge snowstorm that was scheduled to hit Philly in late February, or the weekend of the funeral or whatever. And I was flying in from Arizona, and this was probably like 3 or 4 years ago. And I had a bunch of little cousins that all went to school in the Philly area. There's freaking dozens of colleges there.
Yeah.
So the deal was I would fly into Philly, rent a car, and just kind of pick them up one by one and just get them, and then get them up to Scranton, Pennsylvania. Shout out to the office and Dunder Mifflin. And so I pick them all up. And of course, like, most of them are kind of ready to go. But think about it. Like, you're 20 years old. Like, you have to like get out of bed early on a Saturday for your grandmother's funeral, who like wasn't really that great. It's
Yeah.
like not something you're looking forward to.
Fuck that shit.
So there was one cousin, she will remain nameless, but she was a hot mess. Like, I had to drag her out of bed. Like, her hair is nappy. I'm like, just grab a black dress that's not too slutty that you can fucking wear in a couple hours. I just kind of take my arm and just grab a bunch of shit off of her desk into like an Acme bag, and we're out. We're like out the door. And so we're all loaded up, and we're heading up to Scranton. We're at the funeral, and I noticed in my cousin's bag that there was just like a little thing of mints, and so I was like, oh, I'll just grab these because I'm going to be shaking a lot of hands and like talking to people or whatever. And so I pop a couple mints, and I'm good, and talking to people for a while. And then my mom's like, oh, I'm just like not doing really good, and like I'm like, well, here, just like have a mint, like you'll be better.
Shit.
It turns out like the mint is the one mint that I happen to give my mother is ecstasy.
I mean, if there's any time to do MDMA, it's during a loss.
Holy
you know?
shit.
So
Like, it's very poetic. Like, it helps
Holy
you get
shit.
over hard times.
I thought you were gonna say that you were both took ecstasy, but it's better that the
No.
one mint in there.
the one that happened to not be a mint. And I didn't know.
It's almost serendipitous.
Yeah, no shit.
It was just weird. Like it was, and yeah. So obviously I knew all the signs, and then my cousin was like, "Oh my god, you gay! Oh my god!" And then yeah, it was.
So, like, how long did it take you to realize your mom was rolling?
She was like
just love
creeping on my aunt's faux fur jacket a little too much.
She's just like,
A little too much.
just touching it a lot?
like a rabid fox,
Yeah.
just getting weird with it. And I
just wouldn't go down.
it was
What happened next? When did your mom realize?
Did she ever know?
I don't know that she ever knew. Only because
Nobody told her. You didn't
okay,
tell her.
no. So I put her in the confessional. Like she she needed a timeout.
Oh, my God. I hope your mom didn't get molested by a priest.
I
Might have been in those papers.
She might have molested a priest.
She might, yeah.
She might have I
That's
think it
the
would have
cover up in
been
that diocese.
it would have been consensual all around. And so she ended up being in there for a lot longer because there was a snowstorm, and the hearse, as we were trying to get from the wake to the cemetery, could not get up the hill.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
So my brothers and all the other pallbearers had to physically take the casket out of the hearse and put it on their shoulders and bring my grandmother
up
to
a
the hill,
snowy hill.
up a snowy hill, to physically put her
Just
in the
a
ground.
bitch till the end.
Yeah, she was, and I don't understand why. Like, there was no reason. I mean, she was definitely like somewhat nice to me, but she always thought I was my other cousin because she like started to get confused after a while.
Yeah.
But yeah, my mom, I think, like, she started to come down probably maybe like 3 hours after she had first taken it. And I think the reason she didn't roll that long is because she just is, I don't know, maybe because she's a drinker or whatever, she just has like a high tolerance. So it's the only time
you should have started feeding her martinis to mellow around.
Oh my God, it was nuts. She was really weird. Like she couldn't make a speech or anything, which was fine. It was probably for the best, but
yeah,
it was weird.
Oh my!
And I don't even think I think it would have been a lot worse if it was maybe like actual pure stuff. But I talked to my cousin. I was like, you have to tell me, like, where did you get it? Like, where, like, she was like, I don't know. Like, this guy, I can't remember. It was a weird sketch name that she gave me. And he was like, I was like, what? Yeah. So some guy that comes around the dorms, like, we call him, like, something, like, Sir Snacks a lot.
We call him the Candy Man.
Yeah, like, something weird. I was like, oh, my God. I feel like that story could actually be told
I've
lot
blown him
better.
a couple times. He's a real nice guy.
Yeah, it was crazy.
That is phenomenal.
That's
yeah,
so great.
it was nuts. It was a great. It was.
I wish I could have accidentally dosed my mom, or just purposely done it without telling her.
I would love
once in
to
my
just.
life.
I never like eat. Well, I mean, like I used to would like have like a couple beers with my dad, but like I always think it's fun to hear about people who can like smoke a joint with their parents and like talk about the good old days or whatever the fuck you talk about when you smoke with your parents.
Well, my mom's eaten an edible with me before, and I would never want to do it again because the woman wouldn't shut her goddamn mouth. I mean, I love my mother to death, but God, sometimes just talks too fucking much. And that was one of those instances where it was just like she had 10 milligrams of weed and she was just, I
can't get my parents to smoke with me.
No.
I keep trying to. Yeah.
I'll
get them at some point, but they're like, we can't smoke weed with our kids. We don't want to be those kinds of parents. Like we fucking drink together all the time.
Yeah,
like, I don't
what's
know
the difference?
What's the difference?
Yeah, this is.
I've been
This is
drinking
actually
with
better.
my parents since I was
if
like
anything,
15.
Oh,
like
absolutely. You know?
booze is so much worse for you than
it's
marijuana.
poison.
I mean, it really is.
It's literally poison.
Your
Like,
liver
you're
dies when you
poisoning
drink
yourself.
it.
The reason that you have a hangover is because your liver is trying to like make up for all the antioxidants you made it use to get rid of to process the booze you just drank.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Your dad didn't realize it at all?
No.
That's
Well,
really
so
funny.
and the other thing was, I don't think. I think
My
it
wife,
was.
you'd like to think if your wife is tripping, you'd fucking realize.
Everybody was so consumed with like, because my mom is one of 5, and so everybody was so consumed of like almost catching up too. I know that sounds horrible, but when you think about it, there's not a lot of times everyone's together except for a wedding or a funeral. So it was almost easy to kind of compartmentalize the situation because there was so much other shit going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would rather like my funeral be that way where people
I want
everyone
has
catch up
to
and have fun.
Oh no, I was gonna say I want my funeral to be everybody has to do ecstasy when they walk into the
Do
wake.
ecstasy?
They just all have to take a tab.
How about we make them do mushrooms?
Or
Mushrooms would probably.
I want
be
everyone to do
better.
mushrooms.
I want everybody. Yeah, that's
At my
a better
funeral.
one. That's a better one.
And then like we'll play some Pink Floyd or something.
Fuck
you know
yeah!
what I mean?
I only
just put a laser show on.
Put
the
a
ceiling.
fucking I'll have the Roger Waters laser band fucking come in and play.
Oh
you know,
hell yeah!
with the flying fucking drone pig that goes around the room.
I could see him now. Just a simple kind of man.
I didn't know my college roommate did magic mushrooms until I like knew what they were.
Yeah.
But I should have realized it because back in, I don't know if you guys remember the screensaver from like 2004, 2003, where all PCs would just go into that crazy kind of like line graph.
Yeah.
This one still does it.
Okay, so that like the default setting, and she would just like sit there and look at it all the time.
You should just stare at it.
Just fucking
And you're
stare
just
at
like,
it.
yeah, Stephanie's just
Dude, she
her
was
own lady.
She was a weirdo. She was okay. So
She was on mushrooms all the time.
She was on mushrooms all the time, and she stole my credit card.
Oh no shit.
That my parents remember, like your parents would give you like a credit card in
no, I
college.
didn't have parents that love me.
Okay, but mine was
I went to
just
college
okay.
as an adult.
Mine was just for emergencies only.
Yeah.
And I remember I told my friend Rachel, I was like, yeah, this credit card, I don't know where to put it. Because when you're 18 and you just don't, I never had that kind of fiscal responsibility where like I had to manage a credit card.
Yeah,
Not that I was ever gonna like be irresponsible with it, but I remember being like, I don't know where I'm gonna put this. Like, where am I gonna put this? That
She's
bitch
such
took
a
it
white
out of
woman.
my sock drawer and went to Abercrombie and Fitch and charged like $500.
Wow.
Damn. What'd you do to her? Beat her up?
No, she
Yeah.
got kicked out of the dorms.
Oh, really?
Oh,
She got
shit.
kicked out?
Yeah. Well, and that,
Did
and
you get
she,
your $500 back?
no.
No.
But I never told on her because my my parents didn't say anything, and we were the same size.
Did you take the clothes?
Well, we would just share clothes.
So
But she got kicked out of the dorms for like some other really shady shit she was
what
doing.
did she do? What did she get kicked out for?
So she stole money from the girl across the hall.
Okay.
And then she bought drugs and got caught with them. That was strike 2. And then she was caught cheating during one of the not WP Carey. I liked Barrett Honors College tests. She got caught cheating on it.
And that was it. Then they're
And then
just
that
like, all right,
third
you're
one,
done.
they were like, you're out.
done. We were okay. We were okay when you were just stealing money and
Drugs,
doing
money.
drugs. But you can't cheat
You
on a
cheat.
fucking test.
ASU, you only get kicked out at ASU for filming a porn on campus or
Do you
cheating
get
on
kicked
a
out?
test.
Do you get kicked out of shit?
A bunch
filming
of-
a porn on
know.
campus?
I know.
I
A bunch
feel
of
like there's a
people-
lot of porns have been filmed.
A bunch of people got
grads
kicked
do.
out. A bunch
Really?
of people. Yeah, there was a
Really?
scandal.
What year?
So 2000, 2001, somewhere.
That's
Okay.
always something
Yeah.
that pops up like
Somewhere
every
there.
once in a while at a major school. It's like, oh, there's somebody doing porn at the school again. Like, did you see that chick? She was from University of Oregon.
The girl who showed her boobs in the library got kicked out of school for that?
Yeah.
Oh.
She became like a real big porn star after that. Like
Well,
she
she
just like, fuck it, you want to kick me out of school? I'm gonna go make 6 figures, bitch.
And she probably did.
She did.
Yeah.
I mean, it was impressive.
I know
Read a
some
few
girls that
articles
did
about her.
some pornos in college, but they're like normal.
They're
people
just
now.
normal, regular people.
But I
now.
don't think they have any student loans that they're paying off anymore.
Good for them.
But I know that there are
Do they feel bad about them?
no.
No.
I don't even know if you could even find them.
Yeah.
Because it was so long ago. Because for us, because Bill, you and I were probably in school at the same time.
Roughly, yeah.
This is back in 2003. Like, I don't even think YouTube was big back then. This was stuff that
No,
was
not
just
really.
passed around probably like on a flash drive.
Yeah.
I don't know
Flash
how
drive
anyone
porn.
would have it. Yeah.
Gotta
flash
love, you gotta love some
Flash
flash
drive
drive. You remember getting like Kodak nudes? Maybe not.
Kodak nudes?
You never got a nude on a Kodak?
Like where I would have to develop it?
No, I mean like you remember the or Polaroid. I'm sorry,
Polaroid.
Polaroid.
Oh,
Yeah, where it develops right away. I had a couple of those that were just choice.
One of the
nudes.
girls that I went to
Very
middle school
happy.
with was the first one to like give out a nude, and it
Really?
was with a Polaroid. Yeah,
That's the way.
and
That's the way
it
they
was
happened back
it
in
was
the day.
actually like because I remember I asked to borrow like her hairbrush or something, and like when I pulled her hairbrush out of like this big bucket, there was a couple in there, and it was so clearly like a selfie Polaroid nude, like you could just tell. And she was like smiling in it or whatever. And she was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so embarrassed that you saw that. My brother by accident took that of me." I was like, "Bitch."
My brother.
Your
by-
brother
Your
did not
brother
do
by
that,
accident took a picture of your
No,
butthole.
she was
ma'am.
smiling ear to ear, tits out, and it was probably going to Adam Kilgore. Like,
Fucking Adam.
yeah, like he or one of the
What
other
a great
skater
last
boys.
name though, Kilgore. Come on.
I think he
What a
might be
bad
like
motherfucker.
famous in Philly for like pot stuff.
Adam Kilgore's
Yeah,
famous
if you
in
Google
Philly.
him, I think he was like a semi-pro skateboarder, and then has like all this, and it's Kilgore with a K. Shout out to Adam Kilgore. Maybe
it
he'll
up,
listen.
Adam.
I don't know.
Keep it up, Adam. We like what you're doing. We like that you were getting the OG nudes. You could
Total
be,
OG
You could be
nudes.
like, if you're a dad now, Adam, you can be like, back in my day, if you wanted to get a nude, someone had to send you a picture in the mail.
But you're true. It's totally right,
It
Bill. Like
is.
it was a Polaroid. It was a straight up Polaroid nude.
Yeah,
with her
I
top
remember
up.
the first one I got, and it was like, oh, thank you so much.
Thank
for
you
this
so much for this
fucking
Polaroid
beautiful
nude.
thing. I mean,
So,
I got
yeah.
it at a strip club because I wasn't popular with the ladies, but Canadian strippers, just very nice people.
Did you go to strip clubs in high school to like see naked people?
Oh yeah, of course. Are you kidding?
How did you have money to do that in high school?
mean, so it wasn't. Well, it was like the summer after, right after high school.
Oh, so you probably had a job.
Yeah, I had a job. I had a job all through high school.
Yeah.
I had got a job when I turned 14, and before that,
How did you do that and wrestle?
just take time off in the winter from working. But
Yeah.
I had a job the whole way through. And before I was 14, I had a paper route. So I went from paper route to working at McDonald's to working at Quiznos to all this shit. And so when we all graduated, it was like a rite of passage to go to Canada because you could drink in Winnipeg at 18. So everybody would go up there, and then obviously that's the first time you can go to a strip club and be drunk. So we went to the strip club, and so they had this thing where, and it's Canada. Canada has coin, $1 and $2 bills.
Yeah.
They're coins. They're loonies and toonies.
Okay.
Oh,
And so
cute.
yeah. And so they had this it was almost like skee ball, but with a stripper at the end. And
If you shooting loonies and toonies in your cooch?
yeah.
Are you kidding me?
I'm not even fucking kidding you. This woman was covered in bruises.
Oh, fuck.
Oh my God, I didn't even think of
Because these
that.
dudes would just walk up there and do the snap a coin trick.
Yeah.
And they just ping. I mean, I'm not even kidding. It was merciless.
Did she catch any in her vagina?
I mean, I played it close to the chest, and I kind of like I was doing a ring toss, and so I just got it out to sit on top.
That's real nice, Bill.
And
You're a real gentleman.
That's where my first Polaroid nude came from. It was from this nice lady.
See, Bill, by being respectful to women,
Yeah. That's
and not chucking change in their
buddy of
face as
mine-
hard as you can.
A buddy of mine, so that same strip club, same night, they had this one girl come out and she did a dance. And during her dance, she brought like a kit with her. It was like a Rubbermaid container about a foot high by a foot long. And in it, she had like pancake stuff.
What do you mean? Pancake?
Like she had
syrup?
like a pre-made pancake.
Oh.
And whipped cream and syrup and cherries. And she made a pancake. She made like a pancake on her vagina and then like fed it to my buddy Parker.
Did he eat it?
He did. And
All of it?
He did.
And the whipped cream?
And he was sick. He was so fucking sick for 2 weeks. So I'm glad I got the picture.
Who would have thought that eating a pancake off of a stripper's vagina
Who woulda?
in
Who
a
woulda
Canadian
thought?
strip club is going to get you sick for 2 weeks?
The things you do as an 18-year-old man.
Oh, crazy.
You know, they always say on airplanes the dirtiest thing is the tray table. And I think you just got to wipe that down with the antibacterial wipe. And maybe the same thing if you go to a strip club.
I just
like
lick it.
wipe it before you touch it.
I just lick all the dirtiest things, and I'm just
build up
strengthening
immunity.
Yeah.
That's very smart.
Yeah, that's what I do. Yep.
We're saying
every
that's
time
very smart until he's dead in like 6
died.
months.
I
Be
mean,
like, what
he's-
happened to Bill?
He just
Nah,
he had like 17 viruses. I
fucking,
don't know how
he
he got
licked
them.
something
It's
again.
some that we didn't even know existed.
Yeah. He saw a bright light in his yard, and he went outside, and there was a big rock in a hole,
Yeah.
and he licked it, and then he got taken over by an alien and
He's
killed.
got a super virus.
I'm actually the star of the new Venom movie. I don't know if you knew that.
Oh, can't wait to see it. It's gonna be so good.
Are you gonna watch it? Do you
Yeah.
like superhero movies?
No.
No.
It's all right, guys.
No, I don't. Do you guys?
I
just
do. I
Don't.
love superhero movies.
Every once in a while, certain ones. Like I just Pop and I just watched the new Deadpool, which is not new anymore, but it's the most recent.
Was it good?
It's fantastic.
Yeah, it's great.
I did see Deadpool. I saw the first one. I thought it was really good.
There's
I liked
It was
it.
really good.
The reason I love Deadpool is it like breaks out of the normal comic book shtick, and like Deadpool, like in the cartoon, broke the fourth wall all the time.
Well, I will say I liked that it made fun of like the whole industry and franchise.
Yeah.
The second one's the same, where it's very high level comedy in it, and low. I mean, it's great comedy.
It's good,
It's
yeah.
really funny.
Really good writers.
And then the action's great. I love that fucking movie. Deadpool is the only one that I'm really that into. Others, I'm just like I could take or leave.
I liked the Christopher Nolan, the Batman
Oh,
with
those
Christian
are-
Bale.
yeah.
Those were fucking
those
badass.
were really good.
Those
they
were
were real
good.
dark, and that's
Real
what
dark.
Yeah, that's what I felt like the Batman franchise needs. Is like
yeah, it's a dark.
he's dark.
It's a fucking
he's
dark,
a dark
shit.
hero.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't really my hair doesn't stand up for any of the comic book movies. Like they don't get me that excited.
I love
Movies
all
in
of them.
general.
You do?
Yeah.
What's your favorite like comic movie or superhero comic book style movie?
My favorite shit. Deadpool. The last Thor was
Ragnarok
really
was
fucking
actually
good.
really
Okay,
good.
I've heard
Yeah.
Thor is one.
That's
that,
a fun movie.
Yeah.
The first two suck. I mean, honestly.
Oh,
the
they
first,
do?
The
Yeah.
first two Thor movies are not that good. But
How
the
weird
third
is that?
one-
Like it always seems like the first movie in a Marvel or whatever comic book franchise sets the bar so high
Yeah.
that it's like the other two or three afterwards kind of pale in comparison.
Yeah. Well, you saw
here's-
that happen with X-Men, Spider.
Yeah.
Here's the thing is like when they did the Thor, like all those early movies that they did kind of had the same tone, and then they had like Guardians of the Galaxy that came out, which
That
was
kicked
like
ass.
I like
great.
that one,
I
yeah.
love Guardians of the Galaxy because it's much less serious. And so with the third Thor movie, they found a new director, new writer, and it's much less serious. It's much more like it's
There's
like
a lot of really good
flashy
comedic
80s,
moments.
like
Yeah.
fucking neon-y synthwave music. It's just more fun. you
Well,
know?
I hated Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
Really?
Yeah.
I hated it. I thought it
never
was
saw
so
either of
bad. It was
those.
so long. I was really trying to give the franchise a chance because I loved the first one. I
Yeah.
thought it was funny and creative. And again, it's all going to be new to me because I was never into comic books, but I liked what some of the movies were about. But it was hard to get into them because I would get to an inevitable second film in a franchise and just
Yeah.
think it was garbage.
Wait, so you had a lot of brothers. Were you ever a big fan of like the sci-fi genre?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so you grew up on it.
Yeah, that was, and maybe that's why I never got into the comic books. Was I loved Star Trek, and so when all those movies would come out in the theaters, like that would be something we would do,
Right.
and just in general, like X-Files was really big in my house.
Yeah.
We all loved Battlestar Galactica when it came out. When they reprised it in 2004 was like a very big deal.
Yeah.
And I think the sci-fi genre kind of just followed me too, even with just some of the television shows that I watched, even in college and now. Like I was a
what's
huge
your
Lost
Netflix?
fan.
What's your Netflix like right now?
Okay, so right now the Man in the High Castle.
Is that good?
Okay, it is good. The second season is where you start to get a little bit sci-fi, where there's parallel dimensions and like individuals can actually see through
Right.
to the other dimensions, because the whole basis of the story is how life would be if the Nazis won World War II and got their hands essentially on the atom bomb and blew up DC.
Right.
Rather than us bombing Japan.
Yeah.
So that sci-fi thing, that's definitely kind of up those types of television shows. Ever since Lost went off the air, which I know I'm like dating myself because that's almost like 6 or 7 years ago at this point.
Yeah.
There hasn't been like a really good kind of sci-fi TV show that I can hang my hat on.
I would agree and disagree, because there's like not in the same genre as Lost, maybe, but like I mean, Game of Thrones is more fantasy than sci-fi.
Yeah, but I love Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
I've read the books. I've watched the show. Like GOT is awesome.
Yeah.
But I mean, like the sci-fi and fantasy are like they've evolved so much.
Yeah.
Like even shows that are made on the Sci-Fi Channel. It used to be a joke if you watched like anything produced by the Sci-Fi Channel
Totally.
because it was just fucking bad.
Yeah.
And I watched this new show on Netflix called Van Helsing, which is like it's a new take on the vampire on vampires.
On Van Helsing.
Huh?
On Van Helsing.
Have you seen it?
No, Van Helsing's a pretty popular character. So if it's Van Helsing, it's just a new take on that story.
It is kind of.
Yeah.
And well, so Van Helsing, because I looked it up, is originally like he was the like opponent of like Nosferatu, like in the original telling of Dracula. You know, so like
Yeah.
he was that character. He was a doctor. And in this new sci-fi adaptation, they kind of meld the vampire lore and zombies almost, where they are infected with a bite, and you know they have like Mount St. Helens blows, or no, the Caldera volcano in Yellowstone blows at the beginning of the series, and it covers the sky in ash. So all the vampires kind of just start fucking everybody's shit up, and it's like World War V.
Yeah.
You know, and So there's a Van Helsing character, and she's like immune to their bite, and it's pretty fucking good though for a sci-fi show.
Well, I'll check that out.
It's worth it.
I do like Sherlock Holmes on BBC, the
Is that
reboot.
good?
Yeah, with I don't know, the guy that a lot of gals think is really hot,
Benedict Cumberbatch.
Yes,
What's his name?
Benedict Cumberbatch.
What a great fucking name.
right. It's so British, and
Yeah.
he's
Strange.
Sherlock. It's
Fantastic.
good.
Is he
Yeah, he is
Dr.
Doctor
Strange?
Strange.
Yeah.
That's the only reason I saw that movie was because Sherlock
Strange
was in
is
it,
actually
and it
pretty
was
good.
really
It was
good.
good.
I
But
like Doctor
again,
Strange.
it got too long. It got to that point where he kept like looping back in time over and over again,
Yeah.
kind of like kind of like in the Superman movie where he fights that guy in that first one.
General Zod.
Yes, and that fight scene is way too fucking long, and they're like
Yeah.
knocking over buildings and stuff.
It's the whole Michael Bay effect.
Yeah, it was way too bait out.
I know what you
Yeah.
mean. Like, it's
It's-
just too many.
It was too long.
Too many explosions.
It's just
for nothing.
Well, here's the problem I have. Like, I love probably every single one of the Marvel movies.
Mm-hmm.
I'm way into it because I just love that kind of shit, you know. But I acknowledge when I'm watching those movies, the fucking Michael Bay effect, where it's like I'm watching an action scene, and it's all fucking blurry. Because there's so much going on the screen, it's like they're not even getting a clear shot. I would prefer, less CGI. I would prefer all of that shit, more clear stuff, less just constant fucking shit going on all the time. Where it's like we can have a fight scene, but let's like be able to see what's actually going on.
you know
Yeah.
what? One of my favorite movies recently was that had like none of that, and it was super like realistic and just super crazy. Have you seen Hardcore Henry?
No.
Hardcore Henry's filmed all from the first person perspective, and so you're like looking out as the main character Henry, as he's just going through like trying to not get fucking captured by people that are trying to capture him. It's great.
What's on?
It's
what
on
medium?
Netflix.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, you watch it on Netflix.
I'll check that
Hardcore
out.
Henry's worth a check out. I really liked it.
Okay.
Because it was like a fresh perspective on a film. I've never watched a feature length anything from the first person perspective. It was super
Yeah.
cool. So I definitely give that a nod. And it's a different way of filming and a different way of making a movie.
Sounds like a long time to watch a first person though.
It is. It really is. And there's some of it where you're just like, what the fuck? Like,
Yeah.
and they kind of hide a lot from you in the plot.
Yeah.
So it's just like, you essentially wake up with this guy, and you kind of figure out the world with him and what's going on. So it's like just opening your eyes, and then you're in this universe.
Yeah.
So
Interesting.
it's really cool. It's a cool take. I would definitely recommend checking it out. Where are we at here? We're doing good. Doing fabulous.
Doing fabulous.
Fabulous.
So, Kerri, you're from Pennsylvania,
Yeah.
and Pennsylvania is a notoriously insane place.
Yeah.
I've been through PA a few times. I was like we've talked about. I was a wrestler. I've never wrestled in the Hershey, but I've been there. You ever been through that?
Yeah, the Hershey's it's definitely like a big deal. They host a lot of wrestling events, some basketball events for the state are usually in the Hershey area because it's so close to Harrisburg, which is our capital. So a lot of PIAA sports, if you make it to the state champions, it's always in that Hershey area.
So you actually hung out in that, like you actually had to
I
go
would never fucking go to Hershey unless there was a reason to fucking go to Hershey.
What's
that
up in
bad?
Hershey? What's going on
It
in
is.
Hershey?
Oh, it's just okay. In Pennsylvania, you've got Pittsburgh on the west side and Philadelphia on the east side. Everything in between, other than Happy Valley, where Penn State is, which is physically right dead center of the state.
Yeah.
It really is Pennsyltucky. It is the Wild Wild West. It is family trees, our family circles. It is not you like. It's
The
not
hills have
some
extra eyes.
Yes, it is. You don't. There's no reason to ever go to
Any other place?
the
in
middle
Pennsylvania? Okay.
the middle part of Pennsylvania. There
Yeah.
really isn't. There's no universities there. There's no culture. There's nothing for these people to get behind because it's like They're too far from Philly to support those teams. They're too far from Pittsburgh. So West Virginia and drugs are really close. And that's just what the fuck they do. Like my poor girlfriend lives in Hanover, which is just, it's nothing. It's a truck stop and there's nothing there. It's nuts.
Why does she live there?
I don't know. She bless her heart. I love her. She just got knocked up.
She needs to divorce that
Found a
motherfucker.
boy.
She got knocked up. She looked real pregnant in her wedding dress, but was real pretty.
Yeah.
It's a really pretty bride. But that's, I mean, whatever.
That's how you stay in a place like that.
That's what. Yeah, she's there forever.
Yeah. Oof.
That's how you get
That's
stuck in
tough.
Hanover.
That's scary.
It's that,
What's-
and
You
that's what
could've gotten stuck.
happens.
I was almost stuck.
You were almost stuck. Good for
I
you.
would have been stuck if I wasn't such a
Pete,
piece
get
of shit.
unstuck, people.
Get unstuck. Gina, get unstuck.
Gina, divorce
Gina,
that
get
motherfucker.
unstuck.
I mean, I'm sure he's nice and he's got a beautiful piece on him,
But he's making you live in Hanover.
yeah, you don't want to live there.
It's horrible.
Fucking Hanover.
But yeah, Pennsylvania, I guess as a whole is just not as a whole. That's like a horrible thing to say. Pennsylvania in general is an awesome state. I love Philadelphia. I will always rep Westchester. I think it's the greatest freaking city in the world. Well, I'm not very well traveled.
I love it when people. I love it when
that.
people are like, I'll always rep where I'm from. And
Always.
it's
Yeah,
just
like anyone
really?
gives a shit where I'm from. We're like,
Really?
oh, where are you from? Like no one ever asks. Like they don't
Westchester,
fucking give a
bitch.
shit.
I'm the queen of Westchester.
But
you don't
Philly-
even know.
okay.
Bam Margera used to clip my toenails.
Actually, Bam Margera used to ride his shopping carts at the Acme we used to go to. He
Really?
went to
Oh,
my
yeah.
rival high school, East High School. I went
he
to
really?
Henderson. Yes,
Have
we
you
used to
s-
drive by his house all the
oh,
time.
that's fucking hilarious.
So Bam Margera used to always do shit at the Acme right off 926. Shout out to Westchester. Whatever. No, I genuinely do love Philadelphia.
Did you ever see him like in a bar
no.
or anything when you were
no,
home?
No, but he did open a bar in Westchester called The Note, and its whole thing and claim to fame was that Bam Margera was the owner.
Yeah.
And there was
Yeah.
really nothing unique about it. They did have a really cool stage for bands to come in. So we did for probably about 4 or 5 years, I guess at his height of popularity, his bar would actually attract some cool bands that would go through.
Oh, yeah.
All the names are escaping me because I like, from what people have told me, shitty music. So I can't remember like the bands that
Well,
were there.
It was probably like him and CKY.
Yeah.
And like all
Probably.
that shit that he was really into.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
bet
Yes.
he like called those people, was like, hey, come play my fucking bar.
And that was like Andrew CKY or whatever. Is that
Andrew
that?
WK.
Andrew
WK,
W. Okay,
yeah.
That's, see, I don't know shit, but some cool bands got to actually play at that place.
That's pretty cool.
I did get a pedicure next to his wife. They're divorced now.
Oh yeah, she couldn't
But-
have held on to that.
Yeah, I think she just like held on for the last second, got some money, and then
Yeah.
cut out. Yeah, just.
I mean, I saw this. They did like a "Where's he at now" type thing, and they showed Bam, and he was like trying to learn how to skateboard again and stuff, and it was the saddest shit.
I know, man.
It was
Like you
so
see
sad.
them, like because remember, I remember
Bam's
just
the
thinking.
worst.
But I remember like when I was at ASU, when I was 18 or 19, and someone was like, "Where are you from?" and I said Westchester, Pennsylvania. It was a deal. It was
Yeah.
cool
Oh,
because
yeah.
that's where Bam Margera
That's where
was
Bam
from.
was, and everybody that put Westchester, PA, like
On the map.
Everybody fucking knew
Yes.
because Bam Margera was from there.
And now it's like, oh my god, I can't even imagine what he looks like now.
It's pretty bad. It's
He's
really,
been trying to make this documentary.
Yeah.
He's got like thousands of hours of footage that he's been trying to make this fucking documentary, basically about Ryan Dunn.
yeah.
Basically since he died.
Yeah.
He
That's
really-
pretty much
I-
what he's been dealing with.
That's what that whole YouTube thing or whatever I watched
Yeah.
focused on was like he's making this documentary and he's kind of losing his mind doing it, you know, like
Probably.
But
I
it's
think
also
he's-
kind of the only thing that's holding him together
Yeah.
in any way at the same time.
Yeah.
It's a real...
and I mean you look
It's
at the
pretty
guys
sad.
that made it out of that, you know, like you look at Steve-O. Steve-O made it out at Jackass.
Barely and
Barely.
and only if he can stay sober.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
as long as
exactly.
he's in recovery and working a program, he'll be fine. but-
Anytime I see one of those guys on like Kill Tony or anything, like any of the old Jackass crew besides Knoxville that are like still doing something and they're not killing themselves to do it. Because those guys gave me so much joy when I was a
Oh,
kid.
for sure.
Absolutely.
Like,
They
fuck.
still give me joy now. I still watch those fucking movies.
Yeah.
And laugh hysterically.
sure.
Oh, yeah.
They're so fucking funny.
When Steve-O does I think it was the third one, when he does the poo catapult and he's in the porta potty and they fucking and they just slingshot him into the air.
Oh, God.
Oh, it's one of the greatest scenes of all. I still to this day will almost throw up
So bad.
laughing watching that.
Yeah.
But you never saw Bam. Never seen him.
I used to
in
see him
person.
out in town. That's what we would call Westchester. I would see him out in town at Ryan's Pub or Kildare's or Iron Hill. Like Westchester too is a university town. So
Yeah.
Westchester University is right there in the heart of Westchester. And so by association, we have like I would say like somewhat of a nightlife scene, but it's not aggressive. Like you're not in Philly where if you go out in the UPenn area or Drexel or St. Joe's, like there's a chance you could get stabbed.
Yeah.
You just don't run that risk in Westchester. So we have a pretty lively nightlife, and I would see him out at the bars and he would be with his friends, and it was always a big deal when you would come home for winter break and it would just be like, oh, do you think Bam's in town? Are we going to see Bam? And then it just kind of stopped being cool to be his fan.
Yeah.
Like it just stopped.
Oh, it's
and
so
then
sad.
people are, it's like where like the tide turns and it's like people don't associate Westchester with Bam, and like, or that's their first thought and they're like, oh, that guy, yeah, weird.
Well, and here's so you had that fall for grace with Bam, but someone who's never fallen from your grace is is it Dave Matthews? No, what's the other guy?
Dave Matthews
What's
is
her
not
guy?
from Westchester.
What's her guy?
John Mayer?
John Mayer.
John Mayer's from Bridgeport, Connecticut.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, so he's never.
Oh,
so
yeah.
So
like,
he could do no wrong. then.
no. Like,
Why do you have such a love affair with John Mayer?
I've always loved him.
I didn't know where this was going.
I was trying to get her to
Okay.
John Mayer. Getting off Bam.
I heard his
This is Sad
music.
Enough
I
Life.
fell in love with it. My cousin Jen like ran into him on the street in Boston.
That's right. So your
and
cousin,
got like a cassette tape from him.
it was like his original mixtape, right?
Yeah, it was the original. What Room for Squares became. Like that was his first album. Room
Yeah.
for
So
Squares.
you like got in on the ground floor of this dude, and you've been a fan ever
like
since.
since 2002.
And like, so I saw you do a shout out to Trash Talks in Phoenix at the Coronado.
Whoop, whoop.
Hannah Ty.
Hannah
and-
Ty. Oh, we're recording this?
Yeah, we're recording
Oh.
this. Yeah.
I didn't even
Shout
know.
out, but seriously though, great show. Go check it out. It's at
So
the
good.
Coronado on 7th Street in Phoenix, once a month. And
Wednesdays, yeah.
It's a fabulous show. And she did, so it's called Trash Talks, and it's like a TED Talks for guilty pleasure. And she did it all on John Mayer. And she had made her wedding picture she had photoshopped John Mayer where her husband's head was.
Oh my gosh, you would be so impressed. It's very
Yeah.
good.
It's a great it's a great
It's
shop.
actually really good. Like it looks like it's John Mayer.
It's a great shop. And I couldn't feel worse for Chip.
I know, Chip.
Yeah,
You
how
know,
did he feel?
here's the thing. He's not on fucking Facebook. So
Yeah.
whatever.
I had no idea.
Whatever. The weird thing was, I don't think I've ever posted any photos of me on our wedding day. And we've been married for over a year and a half.
Yeah.
So for that to be everyone's like first look of me like in a wedding dress, they're like, oh my God, is that really John Mayer? I'm like, oh fuck, I wish it was. I wish it was.
Do you have a deal that, if John Mayer
Yeah, do
comes
you have
into
like
the picture, that
I
it's
would
just,
hope it's unspoken because if it presented
knows.
itself, I would
He
just
knows.
not say
Yeah.
no.
He knows.
See, Tiffany Amber Thiessen's my permanent one.
That's
like,
your
yeah, if it doesn't matter if I'm in a relationship or not, if Tiffany Amber Thiessen all of a sudden is available, then it's all deals are off.
What about you, Bill? Who would your
Who's
celebrity
mine?
person be?
Right now it's Olivia Wilde. Yeah.
I like that. She's
Olivia,
very
she's
pretty.
got sharp features.
yep.
Yeah.
John
know.
Mayer wrote a song about her. Something like.
See that's that's why we're buddies. That's why we're buddies.
And he wrote it about her when she was just getting with Jason Sudeikis.
Oh.
Yeah, because Jason Sudeikis and Olivia Wilde have been married for maybe like 3 or 4 years. I think they have like 2 kids together.
Good for Jason Sudeikis.
But John Mayer
what the
like
fuck?
totally said wrote a whole love song about she's the perfect girl. And isn't she?
she really
Did you
is.
know do you remember the Black Donnellys, which was a awesome show that was on for 1 season back
No.
in 2004, 2005? That's when she
It's
got her
familiar.
break.
It was
That
on
was when she
show?
got her break. It was on that show. She was rocking the really thin Kirsten Cinema eyebrows, and because that
She
was
carried those in the house.
it was yes, because those were all the rage in that time period. And when
I rock
Olivia
those now
Wilde, I don't know where I was going with that, but she was on Black Donnelly's. That's where she got
Eyebrows
her
on
start.
fleek. That's where she got her start.
Yeah, and that's it.
That's it.
Oh,
it. That's
oh,
all.
okay. So she's such a fucking badass. She used to be a princess. She was married. She married like a king or a prince.
Oh man.
She was
shit.
straight up married and had like a royal
Well,
title and everything.
now I have to
fucking
change.
awesome.
Now I have to change it because that's just too much to live up to.
But that's just how fucking cool she is.
Listen,
That
Bill,
was
this
the
is not
point
ever
of it.
actually going to happen in real
I
life.
gotta act
so
like it might. Okay,
It's
I'm
not.
a realist, man.
It's
It
not.
could.
and with the
not.
Prince thing,
It's
I
not.
just
It's
it's
not.
not. I'm
It's
sorry.
not.
I'm not. I'm sorry.
It's not going to happen.
I
So
fucking
just-
know. You don't gotta rub it in.
Hey, listen, I'm not trying to rub it in. I'm just trying to let you know that you can dream to the fullest extent.
Okay.
Because
Dream
it doesn't
big.
matter.
By
by being more extravagant with it, it just makes it better for you when you jerk off later.
You're a
Okay,
smart man.
like that's it.
He's a smart guy.
Yeah, you get good visuals.
This is why he's a good dad. You know, he give
The
his kids
best
advice
dad.
like
Got to
that.
explain things.
The
You know,
best
break
dad.
it
Have
down.
you ever had? Have you ever? I've never asked you this. Have you ever had a conversation about, self gratification with the kids?
Oh,
A little
How-
bit.
Yeah.
how do you
bit.
how do you even broach that subject?
Was there ever a period when they were younger where they were just touching it too much, and you're just like, hey, you do
When they
that
were
you're
really young?
alone?
No.
No, you didn't have. My ex had a kid who just he held his dick like a worry rock.
Yeah.
Like everywhere he went, he was just on his dick,
Yeah.
just fucking like it was gonna go somewhere.
Is that's normal or no? Or-
Sometimes kids deal with shit in different ways.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's
you,
true.
You try to get down to, like, you try to break it down and figure out if there is some kind of issue, and then
if
from
not,
there,
it's not a big deal, right?
it's not a big deal, and I just try to explain shit to them,
Yeah.
as best that I can, and I try to tell them too at the same time, like, I don't have all the fucking answers, I'm not some all-knowing, all-seeing God or being. But if you have a question about something and I don't know the answer, I promise you I will help you find it. You know what I mean?
We like to
I just-
offer parenting advice from Matt with every episode.
Oh,
so.
that's great.
Oh, is that the new segment where we're doing?
Yeah,
is-
Matt's parenting tips.
Matt's
So,
parenting tips.
Listen, guys,
Jesus
talk
Christ.
to your kids about masturbation.
Yeah.
Okay.
You talk to them about everything.
I mean,
Yeah.
Just talk to your fucking kids.
you should
Seriously.
talk to them. And
They're actually pretty cool. No, they are. Like,
I mean, some people's kids probably.
And
Get
especially in that phase where they still want to get your advice on things, where they still think, oh my gosh, my mom and dad know everything, because
Yeah.
they get to that point at maybe like, I don't know, 16 or 17, where like if you kind of miss that window
Yeah.
of talking to them, they've already learned or have assumptions that their friends have told them, and it's almost like you're too late.
Honestly, I feel bad for my parents. Like I was closed off to listening to them at like 11.
Oh,
Like I just was like,
Yeah.
I can figure it out. Fuck you guys. Like I don't want to hear your shit. Just let me go do my own thing.
yeah.
So I mean, I wish there had been more talk, because it just kind of became a yell at that point, and that's tough. That's tough to get past.
thanks for hijacking my parenting segment,
You're
making
welcome.
it sad.
You're welcome.
when
Don't yell
we
at your
were-
kids, everybody. Talk to them like Matt
We
does.
were having a very positive moment. That's fine.
You should shut up now.
Perfectly fine. This works. So I'm not going to stop. Yeah, no, that's better. Yeah, just really get it in there. Really get back to the tonsils with it.
Is that how you talk to your kids about sex?
I do.
Those of
Get
you
it
that
in
can't see,
there.
You
Just
Get it in however
there.
you can.
I'm actually Matt's fourth kid.
Yeah, that's
he is my
sweet.
fourth
That's why I do shit like that to him.
Yeah. That's why it doesn't phase me either.
Yeah.
'Cause it's just like-
It doesn't. That's
It doesn't.
great
It didn't
parenting.
look like
It's
it
great
phased
fucking
you.
parenting. Those of you
Like,
at
you
home
think
that
you're gonna
didn't
get at
see
me
that,
this way?
I was sitting there punching Matt in the face with his mic
Yeah.
because it's on a boom.
See what happens when the cameras go off? Bill's gonna get the shit kicked out of him, and
I mean-
that's what you do as an adult.
I
as a
mean, I
parent,
can run.
like-
I can run a little faster than he can.
Did you have to like when you talk to your kids, were there certain conversations that your wife or their mom would have versus you? Like, did you guys have that conversation about who's going to talk about this topic?
So we've been divorced for 7 years.
Right.
So as they've come into an older age, like she's had talks with them, and like sometimes she'll fill me in about shit that's going on, and I'll like have a talk with them too, and just kind of try to see where they're at. It just depends.
Yeah.
I mean, and you know, when I'm around them, I just try to figure out what's going on. You know, see where they're at, and make sure they're doing okay, and if they have something that's troubling them, just try to get down to it.
Yeah.
And then when they ask me questions, I mean, just trying to be as honest as I can, because when I asked people questions when I was a kid, I was lied to all the time.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know what I mean? I was lied to. I was told it didn't matter. I was told shut up. Just like quieted and like never getting anything. And so what I did from a very young age is went on, a search for knowledge.
Yeah.
Where I just like constantly read books and like research weird shit on the internet, just because I'd like to know a little more of why something works the way it is.
Yeah.
And that's all I ever wanted, was people just to explain shit to me. So that's what I try to give to them. So I'm sure in 10 years when they're deep in therapy because they're in 25 and they don't know what's going on in their lives, I'm sure
Can't wait. They
this
should just
all
listen
come
to our
up, and
podcast.
they can totally listen to the
Yeah,
podcast.
just have them listen to
Yeah, I
this.
heard the
This will-
episode where you said your son listened to it, or not,
Yeah.
or parts of it, not all of it.
Yeah. No, it's so I have to be more conscious of that as well, as far as like what image I'm putting out into the world, because I would like to be authentically myself, which is saying ridiculous shit to make people laugh, which that's always what I've done just before I ever stepped on a fucking stage to do stand-up comedy.
That's why you went and did it, is
Yeah.
because you already had that gear to you.
Right.
I'm
Yeah.
sure you as well.
Yeah.
So, that's always been part of who I am. So, and the drugs is kind of a new thing. Because I smoked a little bit of pot like through my teenage years, very little.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In my 20s, very little. But drugs were not allowed. And so,
And now they're
Now I'm-
accepted in your life.
they're accepted in my life, and I'm trying to figure out, because I'm
How
trying
do
to figure
you
out life.
teach reverence for that as if is what you're trying to do? Like
I'm just trying to like honor my own path, as fucking new agey and fucking stupid as that sounds, but also
doesn't.
help give them space to create whatever it is that they want to do with their lives.
Yeah.
I want
Yeah.
to be a facilitator instead of someone, and I've told them this, ever since my son started high school. It's like, if you want to go to college, play sports, have good grades. People will pay you to go to their school if you do that.
Yep.
I'm not going to be able to pay for college. I'm just not at that place, and I'm not going to be at that place by the time you go. If that's what you want to do, you can do that. Honestly, find what's in your heart, something that you really love doing and enjoy, and do that. And don't worry about money, because money comes. And I explained to him, as like, I have a welder friend who's, has been welding forever and is part of a huge,
you could
a
be
huge
metal
high-end,
fabricator.
yeah, he's a part of this high-end, metal company that, does all this shit for super famous people and makes a lot of money doing it. And he works his ass off. And there's other guys who I know who've just found something they really love and they make a lot of money doing it. So I just
cat kisses on meat.
trying to explain that shit to them.
I'm sorry. Just
That's
a
fine.
supreme.
It's
Well, I
fucking
think you're
adorable.
doing it in an
adorable
authentic
cat.
way that isn't self-destructive.
No,
where I
Matt's a
think
great
some,
fucking
that,
guy.
and that's the thing. Like some people would do drugs and be kind of shitty people about it, but
Yeah.
I don't. You're like obviously doing everything right. And I mean, that kind of parent, just to be able to support their kid and break it down and be like, hey, if you want to do this, you can, and know that you have my support 100%. That's all like any kid ever
Absolutely.
wants to hear.
Absolutely.
That's it.
So let me ask you this: you're a year and a half into marriage. Are you guys gonna have kids? Do you want to have kids?
I don't know.
No?
I really don't think that's in our plan.
No. So what does
I
Graybush
know.
say?
Graybush is completely on board with no kids.
I like Graybush.
Yeah.
My husband's a couple years older than me, so he had like a little bit of salt and pepper when we first started dating.
Yeah.
And all my guy friends at the time were just like, yeah, Graybush. Why doesn't Graybush come around?
That's
I'm like,
fucking
because
awesome.
Graybush has like to work at 6 a.m.
Yeah. He's
And
an
so the
adult.
name has just stuck.
That's awesome.
And honestly, like I saw Chip at Big Pine,
I know.
and I didn't know who he was right away.
I know. He's all gray. He's almost like all gray now.
He's just like, bro.
Was he up there? I don't think I saw him. I probably saw him and didn't.
He looked like the guy who should have been with a walker instead of Kerri.
What's a walker? Oh,
Not this walker.
like a walker.
Yeah, like a walker.
Yeah. Yeah. No. Because he's 41.
I mean, that's not that old.
That's
for
early
how gray
grays.
he
I
is.
know. He's so gray.
Yeah.
I'm crazy. No, I'm not crazy.
You crazy?
No.
Do you
That's
ever,
why he's
have
so
you ever,
gray?
Have you ever tried to tell him like, hey, so you should like just for men that or something? Or that an
No,
issue?
because the only time it ever looks weird is when he does the no shave November.
Yeah.
And his facial hair is still like jet black.
oh, is it really?
Yeah, which is crazy.
That is weird.
Isn't
Yeah.
that so weird?
That
like
is weird.
only like maybe the last 2 Novembers there's like a couple gray hairs, but it looks like it looks like you're
different
wearing
people.
a wig or you drew on facial hair.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't
hysterical.
You're a
look
calico
yeah.
human right now.
I don't know if he would ever do just for men. I honestly don't think he gives a shit.
Yeah. Do you like the salt?
Do you like the salt and
Do you like
pepper?
the
I
gray?
think
Is that
'cause
a
I've been with
is
him-
that like a
I've
distinguishment?
been with him for so long that like I don't even notice that his hair has changed colors until I look back at photos from 2010.
This poor guy. It's
And I'm like, oh my
2010.
gosh.
He's basically just he's
He
going
didn't
through
even really
presidency.
have gray hair in 2010.
He's going through presidency.
He
You know how the
did.
president looks like shit after his term?
That's where he's headed. That is fucking where he's
He's
headed.
got all the stress of Kerri.
I pulled the whitest hair out of my beard the other day.
Mm.
Just it was right here in the middle.
I had one
And
on
it
my
was-
And
shirt.
it's
it was all
scraggly,
the way
right?
down. It's this super weird texture.
It
it's
is,
crazy.
yeah.
And I pulled it out and I looked at it. I was like, holy shit,
I've
that
been
is
getting a
that is
lot. I've been
white.
getting a
When
lot.
I
off
get
the-
gray
off
hairs,
the
I'll like
dome.
see them, and if I pull them out of my head, they are always like a weird texture, like
Yeah.
super, like awkward. It's
cotton
weird.
candy hair.
I think
Yeah, it's so bizarre. Yes, it's a yeah.
I think my hair is gonna go like white.
You think so?
Yeah, my mom is like
My mom went like
super
stark
silver
white.
white.
In a very short amount of time.
Yep.
That's usually how it works,
Like
right?
it just
She
all of a
was-
sudden
she
all of
went
her hair
young.
grew out white.
yeah.
And then she just decided to stop dying one day.
Yeah, and then
it
it's
was-
just
Yep.
at that point there's no turning back. Yeah.
you can't.
Well, unless you want to be like one of those crazy old ladies that like has red hair. You know, like the crazy old lady that has like
Like
Yeah.
red
And, like,
hair.
press on
hair,
nails.
press on nails. She's
Like
in
my
the,
girl
she's
Gail,
getting
who does my
perms
Botox.
on the fucking red hair. You're just like,
Yeah.
how is
Yeah.
that shit not getting burned off your fucking skull,
It's so bad.
Margaret? All right, Kerri, we've
Yeah.
been here for about an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Let's get you plugged. Well, you got a website.
I got a website.
What's your website?
kgcomedy.com.
Dope.
Perfect.
What's the? You're gonna open up the Instagram.
I opened it up.
Opened up.
It's
the,
open.
It is public.
Fuck
Oh
yeah.
snap!
And that's Kerrigal14.
Kerrigal 14 on Instagram.